Hey guys, a game against Italian opponent with rating of 749. Let's start the game. So I'm black and he's white. He's coming with a pawn and I respond with my pawn. He's coming with his knight. I coming with my pawn here to support this pawn here. So waiting for his move. You can see he's doing with his knight. This is my turn to threaten his knight here to take this knight and have a double pawn in this column. So let's see what happens. He's doing with his pawn. So I took his knight and he's going to you can see take with my bishop with his pawn and have a double pawn in a column which is not a good setup. So I use my knight here, and in the next move he's threatening my pawn with his he's threatening my knight with his pawn. You can see here he is able to take my knight and I don't want to give my knight to him. So I change the position of my knight to e7 square. So he's coming with his knight. I respond with my pawn here because I want to support this f5 square because he cannot come to this position. So he's threatening with his pawn and this is not a good position for me. He's coming with his pawn. I have to wait or I have to take my knight to other places for the next move. So I came here. He's going to take my pawn. He took my pawn and I responded with my queen in this section. You can see I took his pawn with my queen. So I'm waiting for his move. He's coming with the pawn to threaten this piece and I took his pawn with this little pawn. You can see he's coming again threatening my pawn, and that was a mistake, you can see, because I lost this supported square by this pawn. By this move I lost this square, but the game is continuing. So he's coming here and you can see he's trying to reach to my king. I took a pawn and you can see the next move is coming to a check with knight, a check with a white knight. So the next move I moved my king to the side of the knight to take his knight by my king. He made a mistake to take my, you can see he made a mistake, and by taking my pawn here he actually lost a knight by taking my king. In this position I take his knight with my king and he's coming with a queen, and actually there is no threat here. Next move I move my queen to e5. He's coming with this little pawn and it was a great mistake because by doing this pawn he's actually freed the rook and I can take this rook by this movement. You can see I took the rook, and in the next move he actually did another mistake by not moving this bishop. He actually lost this bishop too. So he's coming with his with his pawn, and I took the bishop again and have a check here. He moved the king. The next move would be taking this pawn and having another check. I did it. He's moving the king to a safer place. So I took another pawn and also check in the same position. You can see he's moving his king, and I want to do as much as check as I can to take all of the pawn. I check another with this queen, and my purpose is to actually take this pawn. He's moving the king, I took the pawn, and he's moving with his pawn. I came back to this position, knight to support this one, this position. These two squares is supported by this knight, and also this knight is supported by this knight. These are all together. So he's coming with his rook to threaten my queen. I came back to the previous position. This queen took a lot of you can see materials here, and came back to the first position. So I'm threatening his queen actually, and in the next move he took my queen, I took his queen, and it was a queen trade, and it was a game over. He actually resigned in this position, and that was a win for me. Thanks for watching this game. Please subscribe to my channel and share to your friends. See you in the next video.